Hello, Internet. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Curse of the Boring Movie, the only show on the Internet that brings justice to movie crimes. I'm Daniel Lohman, and today's topic will be The Prince of Persia. The Prince of Persia is a 2010 movie directed by Mike Newell and stars Jake Gyllenhaal as a Prince of Persia. And this is a boring movie. Now, some of you might be saying, but Daniel, it's got time travel and parkour and a dude with sword whips and Alfred Molina, and he was in Spider-Man 2. And to that I answer, dude, stop yelling at your phone. I can't hear you. But yes, the Prince of Persia has all of that, but can you tell me her name? See, I think this is a perfect movie for this series because it is everything a boring movie should be. Great ideas, good actors, bad script, poor execution, and Jerry Bruckheimer. For those of you who haven't seen this movie in almost 9 years, Jake Gyllenhaal plays Prince Dastan of Persia, and he gets a magic time dagger that rewinds time, and he has to escort Tamina, that's her name, to the magic time temple in time to stop Ben Kingsley from using his time powers to time something timey, and wow, did I say time way too much. But now, I bet I could convince you that this is probably the best movie on the planet if I just showed you clips of Jake Gyllenhaal running on walls, Ben Kingsley in eyeliner, the aforementioned guy with sword whips, the ostrich racing, the dude who can throw this knife out of this window and have it land exactly in the tree next to Alfred Molina, the time travel gimmick, and Gemma Atherton wearing distinctly less eyeliner than Ben Kingsley. But no matter how that sounds, this is a boring movie. Now, this movie has some great ideas. I am a big fan of the guy with sword whips myself. Can we show him again? Yes. But the problem with boring movies is that they're boring, and those good ideas are wasted. There have been so many great movies about time travel, ones with lower budgets and lesser actors, but I struggle to think of one that uses its time travel as poorly as this movie. It takes a cool idea, like having the chance to relive the last few seconds, and treats it like it's the plans to the Death Star that they need to take to Mordor or something. Time travel is not some generic MacGuffin, it's freaking time travel, and you treat it like it's the knock list. No, there are so many great uses for it. You could, I don't know, slow down time during a fight to make it look like a good action movie starring the Persians. And speaking of Persians, this movie, while it is fictitious in every sense of the word, to the point that I'm not sure I didn't just make it up, but they do try to keep things historically accurate. Like, this map of the Persian Empire roughly puts us somewhere between 600 and 400 BCE, which means King Shahraman could maybe be King Darius, especially with the whole, conquering the world thing, which means Jake Gyllenhaal would be... Yes, that guy. Man, if only this was a better movie, then we could see Gerard Butler as like a bad guy and have it recontextualize the whole 300 thing. Then we could see how Xerxes was actually trying to bring like peace and modernity and stuff to Greece. That would be weird, right? Like Jake Gyllenhaal could then use the Dagger of Time to like rewind the fight over and over again against the Spartans, but they just keep beating him until he finally gets a victory. Like, that would be dope. Man, greenlight that idea. But making movies is hard. Rarely does a writer sit down with one good idea and then leaps fully formed into cinemas around the globe. There are hundreds of people working on movies, each with their own specialties and ideas. As a personal example, I have a script that I've been writing for months. It is a Moulin Rouge-style musical with all killer songs, and I have shown this to exactly 4 people. Matt, Jake, my wife, and the Steven Spielberg lookalike I keep chained to my water heater. And each of them has their own input and ideas, but I, as the writer, have the final say over my story. And I give this example to show a writer can have control over the story, but this movie had 4 writers, and with 4 people having the final say, you end up with time travel, family drama, big war scenes, ostrich racing, and like 8 different locations that they keep backtracking between, but none feel distinct enough that I feel like they go anywhere. Like, I didn't realize this was supposed to be in Persia until I was doing research for this, and then I thought it was Alamut again, because they looked the same and Ben Kingsley was there. And while each writer might have good ideas, too many good ideas crammed together means you don't get a chance to explore them, and the audience gets bored. Next thing. The Prince of Persia is not a bad movie in the way most people think of as bad. As good lighting, the color palette works if you like brown, and the camera points at the stuff. However, the pacing is bad. It takes a bad script with lots of good ideas and gives it no room to breathe. This is not a short movie. It's almost 2 hours long, but it has scene after location change after boring exposition. Did I mention the exposition is boring? It's boring. And it moves at a breakneck pace that bores us to death. I, speaking it for the audience, like action, but only if it's action that serves the story and involves characters we care about. For example, The Dark Knight has similar pacing to The Prince of Persia, but it does it well. Jumps from scene to scene with no breathing room, and you might get whiplash if you try to keep up with the plot, but we care about the characters and the action serves a purpose. The Dark Knight uses its pacing to put us in the mindset of the characters who are racing to stop the Joker. The Prince of Persia just needs to get its runtime down. But why? Butt joke. I do not know Jerry Bruckheimer personally. I do not know what he thinks or what he believes, but if philosophers believe that you can learn about the artist from the art, then Jerry Bruckheimer is not. Producers are the money behind the movie, so they have the official final say when it comes to the film, and one of those things is the runtime. The Prince of Persia is just under 2 hours long, which, as you know, is the same as all movies, right? It's even a little bit longer than average, which means that the producers had faith in the vision of the filmmakers, at least to begin with. But as the extras on the DVD of The Prince of Persia tell us, they had a lot more ideas than what made it on screen. This holds the Guinness World Record for the most expensive movie based on a video game. And if you're wondering why I haven't mentioned the video games, it's because their quality does not influence that of the movie, but also this is my show and I do what I want. But what does all that money buy? Good actors and great special effects, but the producers need to make their money back somehow. So the simple character moments are cut for time, while the scene where they infiltrate a Persian city while Gemma Atherton wears a revealing outfit stays in to entice all the 13-year-old boys to buy an $8 ticket. And the 2-hour runtime means more showings at the box office, so more chances to make their money back. And all of these factors boil down to the film version of too many cooks spoil a soup, where the coolest ideas are thrown at you, you have barely any time to process it before the guy with sword whips is back on screen. And with no time to process, your audience doesn't get excited, they get tired and bored, and this becomes a boring movie. But what can we do to fix it? I don't know, stop making boring movies? Join us next time as we dissect the next boring movie on our list, and I try to break the Guinness World Record for the most hamsters licked in a single sitting. Bye.